Hey everybody, I'm Jesse and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. Today I'm going to talk about societal collapse. What it would mean, is it happening? Because I get into conversations in the comments about a slow apocalypse, as if, it's just slowly unfolding instead of just an overnight catastrophe like an asteroid or something, that we're in a slow motion apocalypse. And it does seem that way sometimes with the economy, the education, the government, all of their decisions and the ideas that they're fostering, the ideas that they're spreading, the decisions they're making, sending our money overseas, having nothing left for us, and it's our money. When I think about that, just the gall of these people in government taking our money and then spending it how they want without helping us out at all when we're in dire straits after catastrophes. They don't have any left for us. They can send billions to other countries, literally, but when it comes time to help us after a catastrophe, they don't have billions, they say. When it's time to give themselves raises and to, make themselves immune from these laws they're passing, they can do that, but they can't help people out in catastrophe situations, in recovery and repairs. So is that what's happening? Are we seeing a slow unfolding of a societal collapse? And I've given it some thought, and I just don't think so. What I think we're seeing is a planned march toward a dystopian future, more like 1984 or something like that, even Idiocracy. This whole digital future where people are going to be combined with machines and robots are going to be doing all the work. And they're not even hiding their plans anymore. The upper powers that be, whatever you want to call them. There are so many conspiracy theories, whether they're aliens or lizards or whatever, all this. None of that matters. The actual fact is that our government is controlled by a bank. That's a fact. That's not debatable. That's not a conspiracy theory. I remember the first time I realized that the Federal Reserve was a privately owned bank. That blew my mind. And ever since then, I've been wondering, why wasn't I taught that in school? Why didn't I already know this information? So a privately owned bank controls our government. Money is control. Money is everything in today's society. And the people who give you money are in control. The owners of a corporation have control over their employees. They can hire them, fire them, because the money is going down that way. Where the money goes down, that's the further you go down, the less control you have. Well, if the Federal Reserve, a privately owned bank, is sitting above our government and the money's going down to our government, the Federal Reserve has control. That's just common sense. And we're led to believe that we need all these degrees and that just normal average people are too stupid to understand. They purposefully make things confusing, like our tax codes and all this shit. They make it so confusing so a normal person can't understand it, and it's vague and gray so that they can manipulate it to use it against us in many different ways. I can't use the tax code against anybody. It seems to me like this is a planned march toward a dystopian future, because they could easily right the economic ship anytime they wanted. Easily. Anytime they wanted to, they could right the ship. Right? They could make each nation independently strong in its own area and make the people wealthy and free. They could allow all this, they could promote all this, but that's not what they're doing. That's not what we see happening in the world. Instead of making our neighbors strong and free and healthy and brokering peace, we're sending instruments of warfare out to them to promote war. All right? If you really cared, if you had two neighbors and you really cared about them, you wouldn't want them fighting against each other. You wouldn't be taking one of them, guns and knives. You'd be trying to feed both of them so they'll quit fighting over food or whatever the resource, whatever the reason they were fighting. You would be trying to settle that, trying to alleviate that, help both of them, not help one side destroy the other. So, and that's just one way that this is going down. There's the education system throughout Western society. There's the loss of freedoms throughout Western society. We can see ourselves marching toward socialism, communism, and in every single instance in the past, and in the very recent past, Venezuela, we have seen very successful countries just be destroyed by socialism. I mean, absolutely destroyed. But people still root for it. People still want it. The powers that be are still pushing it. Why? If you see evidence that this certain ideology is destructive to people and it makes them poor, it makes them less free, why would you want to push that on them? Because you want them poor and less free. That's it. You wouldn't throw a bucket of blue paint on somebody if you wanted them to be red or any other color. The only reason you throw blue paint on them is if you wanted them to be blue. But that's what we see. We see the government doing one thing and saying something else completely. Free speech is a threat to free speech. We've got to tamp down on free speech and curtail all this information, this disinformation, this misinformation, because that's hurting free speech. Huh? The freedom of speech is the freedom to speak. Period. The freedom to share your ideas. Because we all know that if you start shutting down the bad ideas, then it's just opening a doorway for the powers that be to shut down good ideas, like freedom and prosperity. So I see it collapsing. I see society collapsing in a slowly unfolding way, and by design. I don't see it collapsing overnight into an apocalyptic scenario. I think they have control. They know exactly what they're doing, and I think this entire digital monetary system and getting rid of paper physical currency is going to be the last straw. That's going to be once they have that implemented, if we allow it, once they have that implemented, there's going to be no turning back. They'll get rid of money, they'll ban money, destroy all physical money, and everything will be online under their control. Everything will be digital. Everything you have will have an NFT equivalent where they can just change the ownership of that NFT whenever they want. So your home, your land, your car, anything you have, they will just shut it off. They shut off your driver's license, the tag on your car, your bank account, anything they want. They just go in and check a box on a computer screen, and that's where I think we're headed. And it only gets worse from there. And every single aspect of society, every single decision they're making points to that. I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my back pocket. Just look at what they're doing. Look at the education system. Look at the reaction to catastrophes here at home. Look at their foreign policies. Look at their monetary policies. Look at how they've been getting rid of our infrastructure, our jobs, our factories. They've been sending those overseas for decades. This is not accidental. You do not just happen to send all of American manufacturing jobs overseas just because. Oh, look what happened. Wake up one morning. Oh, that's funny. All of our manufacturing jobs are over there in China now. How'd that happen? No. This is all by design. And it's been unfolding slowly for decades. And all of these things, as it slowly unfolds, all of these things harm the common person and enrich the rich. Not once have I seen a factory shut down and the common working population, middle class population around that factory just find success. Oh, we're so glad that factory got shut down. That was the best thing that happened to us in years. Never, not once. Yeah, it's a slow motion unfolding, but it's dystopian rather than apocalyptic. And it's 100% by design and 100% against the population, the average walking, talking person working. As you've heard me say many times probably, everyone has an agenda, and it's the same from the bottom all the way to the top. I have an agenda for my house. I go out and cut the grass or do whatever because I want certain things to be certain ways, and I have plans I'm implementing every day around my house. Now, the governor has an agenda and plans that he's implementing for his state. The president has plans and stuff he's implementing for the country. The bank has plans and stuff they're probably implementing for a continent. The central bank has a plan that they're implementing for the world. That's just the way it goes. If you do have control of something, you're going to exercise that control in one way or another. And for people to close their eyes to that control and to pretend that this is all just happening organically and that the people are actually in control, that's like saying that the dogs and the cockroaches in my house have control. No, that's just not true. The dogs and cockroaches might think they have control, but they actually don't. They get fed when I say get fed, and they get bug spray when I say they get bug spray. And when you look at it realistically like that, you can't help but notice what's going on around the world and what's really happening and what direction we're really headed. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down below. Thank you for that. I sincerely appreciate it. You can also hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee, and I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can go over to Redbubble and check that stuff out. We've got all kinds of cool stuff, Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff over at Redbubble. I'll put that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. I really appreciate that. It helps out a lot. Thank you very much. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email's over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.